Hello peoples! The star medium of this video is India ink. However, there were a bunch of supporting roles. It is mixed media to the fullest. Either way, my Inktober illustration came out gorgeous, in my opinion. Not perfect, but gorgeous. And it was definitely an experience. For those of you who are interested, a slower version of this video with some additional commentary is available as a reward on my Patreon page. Feel free to head on over to patreon.com/Xiexie for ways to check that out. If you haven't seen part 1, feel free to check it out. I'll link it here. If you have seen it, then you already know that I was feeling the spirit of Inktober and riding the artistic high of the cuteness of this line art. And I thought, hey, why not keep it going and color this with India ink? Now, there's no problem with that. It's Inktober. Use ink, right? But here's the situation. Have I ever actually heard? Have I ever actually heard of India ink before? Nope. I just saw it listed on someone else's Inktober post. Did I know anything about it? Nope. Did I know how to use it? Nope. You guys, I can't begin to tell you the emotional roller coaster that this Inktober illustration took me on. And you know, I love those gut-wrenching drops and flips and whatnot, but not with my art. No. After starting, I did find a video from Lindsay the Frugal Crafter where she essentially said that India ink was a lot like watercolor except for two things. First, that India ink when dry is permanent, and second, that it is glossier than watercolor. I watched another video, I can't remember who, but they essentially said the same thing. It does seem a lot like watercolor, but the thing is, I'm not an avid watercolor user, which probably attests to some of the issues I had working with India ink. Also, this illustration required me using a much smaller and finer brush than I'm typically used to. So there are probably many factors into this. I did find India ink to be much glossier than watercolor, which I think is a plus. The shine of it is just beautiful. Oh my gosh, and I love it so much. And it was pretty much the reason why I decided to go full glam with this illustration and use the sparkle pens, the gelatos, the glitter, metallic pens and markers. You know, just keeping that shine factor going. Now, in regard to it being permanent when dry, I didn't get that. I had a horrible time with the India ink lifting up and it mixing well after it was dry. I don't know, but it made it very difficult in that respect. The India ink, it's translucent, which depending upon how you use it, that can be a pro or a con. For me and this illustration, it was more of a con. When I needed to cover up little mishaps or make changes, I couldn't, which is how I ended up using acrylic paint. The India ink colors, they're very pigmented though, which is great. They look very rich, which when you think about Disney princesses in their gowns, that's what you want, a rich look. No? You do have to be careful with it though. The India ink can get to a shellac point. I don't know how else to describe it. It was glossy, but too much, like slick. I don't know. I didn't like it. So I did have to start over with this one. There were just too many things going awry with the first coloring. I bumped my own arm when coloring Cinderella's headband and ended up with a blue streak. And I think that was the last straw for me. I was like, forget it. Just start all over. I had to do a whole lot of mixing to get the exact colors and shades that I wanted. When I use acrylics, I don't really like to do a lot of mixing. You know, if I had the time to complete an artwork in one sitting, maybe I wouldn't mind so much. But because I have to stretch things over days, weeks, and maybe even months, years, mixing colors, it just isn't helpful, you know? Trying to remember what colors you mix to get a particular shade or hue, what have you, it just isn't helpful. After coloring Rapunzel's hair, I realized that I shouldn't have put Belle next to her. All that yellow hair next to all that yellow dress. Just yellow overkill. So I just had to figure out a way to differentiate between, you know, the two, which meant more mixing, which, you know, just... The colors weren't what they appeared to be either. For example, the brown looked brown in the bottle, but it was actually quite reddish on paper. And they have another brown called Van Dyke brown, which looked like a tinted brown in the bottle, but was actually brown on the paper. Yeah, it was just that confusing when I was working with it. Yeah. But I think that's kind of a typical thing for art supplies, I think. I wasn't comfortable using the ink for the skin colors. I ended up using a combination of markers and pastel pencil. For the background, I used Gelatos and metallic gel sticks. I had a difficult time deciding what to use, but when I realized the extent of the India ink shine, I knew I had to use Gelatos. And see, this is either my third or fourth time using Gelatos and gel sticks. So I'm a little familiar, but you know, no expert. So it was trial and error trying to figure out how to tone down the pink, even though I really didn't know what color I wanted to end up with. And let me tell you, this thing got so shiny and reflective near the end that it was so hard to work on. I kept getting this solar flare every time I would turn it or turn my head. The light just kept bouncing off of it, and it was immense. I either had to turn off the light or move it away to get a good look at it. A lot of detail went into this illustration. I think because it was my only Inktober piece, I felt like, let's go all out, you know? And I'll be honest with you, I had gotten so upside down on this piece that I just about hated it. It had me so emotionally spent and stressed, and it had become something entirely different from what I originally planned. But I went with it. And in the end, you guys, I cannot believe how great this came out. All of the detail and the shine, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. Yeah, if I had a baby girl, this would be all up in her room, but I don't. So it's all up in my store. The original prints and even some specialty items of this artwork are available in my store. So check the link in the description and go check those out. They came out really, really cute. Also, if you would like me to make a separate video focusing on any of the other materials I used in this video, leave a comment below letting me know which one. As always, peoples, thanks for watching. Your thoughts, ideas, suggestions, and or questions are welcome below. And I'll catch you all in the next one.